उनने कोई सैंक्शन नहीं ली, पोस्ट खाली उनने भर दी है।
सर ऑन हो चुका है।
Technological progress has undoubtedly improved our lives in all areas. It has not only changed the way we function, travel, or even think, but it has also changed the way we work. This technological progress is also connected with the process of digitalization. The scope of digitalization is immense, and its role on the transformation of our life may span across innumerable business sectors. Virtually, every organization on the planet has in recent years worked systematically to reinvest its businesses for the sake of growth and effectiveness. The 12th International Conference on Digitalization as a Vehicle for Innovation, Organizational Growth, and Effectiveness is organized to identify and acknowledge digitally innovative efforts made by businesses, leading them towards enhanced performance so that the other organizations following their examples may prepare themselves to face the global challenges and emerge as market leaders. It would not at all be an exaggeration if I assert that today we are sharing this digital space with a group of dignitaries that can clearly be characterized as a conglomeration of intellectuals of unparalleled mental prowess. The most eminent Professor Sangeeta Shukla, Vice Chancellor, Jivaji University, Gwalior, presiding officer of the conference. The illustrious and admired Professor S. Koteshwar Rao, Vice Chancellor, Rajmata Vijayaraje Scindia Krishi Vishwavidyalaya, Gwalior, chief guest in the ceremony. The eminent and noteworthy Professor Pavan Kumar Singh, Director, MDI, Gurgaon, as chief guest, as guest of honor. The respectable and distinguished Professor Sudhir Rana, Professor FIIB, New Delhi, and Professor Dogan Gosroy, Professor, Washington State University, as special guest in today's inaugural ceremony, and Professor Justin Paul, Professor, University of Puerto Rico, keynote speaker in the ceremony. The very prominent Dr. Devish Jain, Chairman, Governing Body, PIMG, as patron, International Conference. The influential and paramount Dr. S.S. Bhakar, Principal, Prestige Institute of Management, Gwalior, Conference Chairperson. Dr. Rituraj Babar, Organizing Secretary, 12th International Conference 2020. Dr. Rajesh Gupta, Co-Organizing Secretary, 11th International Conference 2020, learned dignitaries from various parts of the world, faculty and staff members, media persons, sponsors, and students. A very heartily good morning to all of you. I, Dr. Sonal Saxena, on behalf of Prestige Institute of Management, Gwalior, take the privilege to welcome the August gathering in the inaugural ceremony of the 12th International Conference on Digitalization as a Vehicle for Innovation, Organizational Growth, and Effectiveness, held in collaboration with AIBPM Indonesia. Saraswati Namastubhyam, Varde Kamrupani, Vidya Arambham Karishyami, Siddhir Bhavtum Sada. It is our holy tradition to worship Goddess Saraswati before any important event. Devi Saraswati is hailed as the goddess of knowledge, art, and wisdom. She is the mother of Vedas, and chants to her, called Saraswati Vandana, often begins the Vedic lessons. So before starting the conference, I would like to dedicate a prayer to Ma Saraswati and seek for her blessings. Now we would request the dais to kindly kindle the holy lamp. Thank you so much. There are just 4 steps to success. Plan purposefully, prepare playfully, proceed positively, and pursue persistently. With this, I would now request Dr. Rituraj Babar, Organizing Secretary, 12th International Conference, Prestige Institute of Management, Gwalior, to please introduce the conference to all of us. So please.
Thank you, ma'am. A very good morning to others gathering online. Honorable Chief Guest of the occasion, Professor S. Koteshwara Rao, Vice Chancellor, Rajmata Vijaya Raje Scindia Krishi Vishwavidyalaya, Gwalior. Keynote speaker for the session, Professor Justin Paul, Professor, Puerto Rico. Guest of honor, Professor Pawan Kumar Singh Sir, Professor I.M. Indore. Special guests, Professor Dogan Gursoy, Washington State University. Professor Sudhir Rana Sir, Professor FIIB. Conference patron, Dr. Devi Jain Sir, and Reverend Professor S.S. Bakar Sir, Principal PIMG, academicians, delegates, and students from different parts of the world. On behalf of Prestige Institute of Management Gwalior, I extend a very cordial welcome to all of you for attending this online August gathering of PIMG's 12th International Conference on the theme Digitalization as a Vehicle for Innovation, Growth, and Organizational Effectiveness. Martin Luther King has quoted, "We must accept finite disappointment, but we must never lose infinite hope." Okay. It was 26 December 2019 when I proposed my candidature as Organizing Secretary of next International Conference to Reverend Principal Sir, nearly at the same time when the first case of COVID-19 was reported in Wuhan district of China. No one expected that this disease would immobilize the world. After February 2020, the number of countries across the globe entered into global lockdown. There was pandemonium all across. The economies were frozen and there was negative GDPs observed. COVID hit world so hard that the economies are still on the path of recovery. With extension in lockdown and fear of the disease and international conference in December 2020, as a conference secretary, I was extremely confused what to do next. Under the guidance of Principal Sir, we decided to go with the theme and digitalize the conference. Thus, the conference was online, and with our experience till now, we surely can endorse the benefits of digitalization. COVID-19 has led organizations to focus their efforts more on developing digital ecosystems. Now, the motto of organizations are digitalize or perish. This conference is a perfect platform for all the researchers all across the globe to present their research, explore areas influenced by digitalization. The conference offers participants multiple publication opportunities too. In 6 Scopus and Web of Sciences indexed and ABDC listed journals, an Apple Academic Press book, which is exclusively for the conference, has also been commissioned. Today's inaugural will be followed by 8 technical sessions on day 1 and 8 technical sessions on day 2. At the last, there will be a valedictory ceremony, and at the valedictory ceremony, the winners of Best Paper and Best PhD contest will be announced. I hope that the interaction that will take place in 2 days would enable us to contribute towards development of our understanding about digital transformation for organizational growth and effectiveness. I again thank all dignitaries, guests, academicians, students, delegates all across the world for being part of the conference. Thank you. Have a good day. Happy learning to all.
As it is said, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Now I would request the very influential and greatest leader to all of us, Dr. S.S. Bhaker, Principal PIMG, and the conference chairperson to welcome the August gathering. So please.
Good morning from India. Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Koteshwar Rao, Vice Chancellor, RVRSKVV, respected Presiding Officer, Professor Sangeeta Shukla, Vice Chancellor, Shivaji University, Gwalior, respected Guest of Honor, Professor Pawan Kumar Singh, Professor IIM Indore, respected special guest, Professor Dogan Goswami, Professor, Washington State University, USA, respected special guest, Professor Sudhir Rana, Professor, FIIB, New Delhi, respected keynote speaker, Professor Justin Paul, Professor, University of Puerto Rico, respected Dr. Davis Jan, conference patron and chairman, Prestige Education Foundation, organizing secretary, conference IC 12-2020, Dr. Ruturaj Baba, Assistant Professor Rajesh Gupta, co-organizing secretary, conference 2019, faculty colleagues, delegates, faculty members across the world participating in this conference, and students. I welcome you all in the inaugural function of 12th International Conference being organized by Prestige Institute of Management Gwalior on the theme digitalization as a vehicle for innovation, organizational growth, and effectiveness. Digitalization does not need any explanation by anyone today. Kids born 2 years back, that is just 1 year, 1.5 years, 2 years, use mobile phones as if they were born with all the digital knowledge. And in fact, are more adept at using the latest gadgets based on digital technology than even the experts. That shows that digital transformation is complete. The organizations now cannot shy away from adopting digital technologies across their supply chain. It is not only the piecemeal application of digital technology that the organizations have been using. It has to be the complete supply chains have to be transformed and have to be based on the digital technology now. If the organizations want to survive in the fiercely competitive world market, the market is not limited to now the local market, national market, or regional market. It is a world market today. And digital is the base. Digitization, that is digital technology, is the base to integrate the world market. In fact, if we look back, the 4 industry revolutions have been based on the disruptions of technology. The first one was because of mechanized technology available, called first industrial revolution. The revolution started in somewhere near 1800. It took about 100 years for the second revolution to take place, which was based on energy, specifically oil and gas. The third revolution, which was based on communication, technology, and computing ability, was triggered about 25, 30 years back. And the fourth one is going on, and which is based on digitization. The disrupting effect of the digitization has been very fast and swift. And specifically, because of COVID-19, the organizations and in fact individuals who are the customers for organizations who were also a bit shy about using digital technology were fearing that it might harm, or because they were not adept at it, have also started using digital technology. And now nobody can actually be isolated from digital technology, or in other words, if you don't use technology, digital technology, you'll be isolated from everyone else. But digital technology has to be used carefully. It cannot be that you just adopt whatever technology is available, or you adopt it piecemeal way. That has been done in different organizations, have failed. Some of the examples of successful digital technology I would name, not explaining too much, just naming few of them. Food and beverages, Coca-Cola adopted digital technology to convert all their documentations converted to automation, and saved billions of dollars. In fact, back home, Swiggy, Food Panda, Zomato, Uber Eats, etc., have transformed the way people eat. You don't need to go to the restaurant today to quench your thirst of taste buds. You can sit at home and call the food that would be fresh and hot. So that has been a success story. And in fact, the hotel bookings and taxi bookings, etc., the aggregators have transformed the way the hotels are booked or the taxis are booked. The total business has been transformed. And in fact, the disruption has also gone to automobile manufacturers, that they have to now embed GPS system in their automobiles, because that is the base of aggregators for booking taxis, etc. Cloud computing, Microsoft moved from being barely a software developer to cloud computing, and have been able to reach 1 trillion the value. There are a number of other examples, but not listing all of them. We can just understand that it is digital technology is omnipresent, and no organization, no individual can actually stay away from it. A few things that organizations need to understand while adopting digital technology are that, and few mistakes that the organizations have been committing and should avoid. The mistakes that they have been committing are: one is misunderstanding digital transformation rationale. The digital transformation has to be based on strategy. It cannot be just for the sake of using digital technology, adopting digital technology. It has to be part of the strategy, overall strategy of the organization. Stop navel gazing. That is, organizations have been inward thinking. They have been looking at what benefits the digital technology will give them in terms of efficiency and effectiveness, rather than focusing on the customers. The organizations must focus on how the customer would be better served and how they can provide better products and services to the customer, rather than focusing on how they can improve their end of the year statements. Take responsibility. Organizations, when they fail in using new technology or new strategy, you find there is a blame game. People start telling you did this and you did that, or it is the responsibility of the technical officers to implement digital technology. No, it is everybody's responsibility, including the CEO of the organization, because it has to be developed through strategy and not piecemeal. There are a number of others, but I know there will be a lot of speakers after me, and I should not step on the foot of others. So therefore, to conclude, I would like to say that digitization is acting as disruption today. And this disruption is across industries, across world. Nobody can be away from this disruption. The better would be to adopt it cautiously, properly, using proper strategy, and making it as the base for the operations of the organization, and not piecemeal adaptation. If that is done, the organizations would be hugely benefited. And pandemic or no pandemic, digital is here to stay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for imparting us with the knowledge of the conference. Upcoming next is a man who sees the higher part of ourselves and shows faith in us. I would now request the very prominent Dr. Davis Jain, Governing Body, Prestige Institute of Management, Gwalior, Conference Patron, to address the August gathering.
Namaskar and a very good morning to all the esteemed speakers, the learned panelists, the director, faculty colleagues, dear delegates, dear prestigious, and the students on the conference. Friends, it gives me great pleasure to address you all on this very auspicious occasion of the International E-Conference organized by Prestige Institute of Management and Research, Gwalior, that too on a very relevant and current topic, digitalization as a vehicle for innovation, organizational growth, and effectiveness. Digitalization, a vision for the country that our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji saw and implemented, is creeping rapidly into all walks of life, be it banking, trade, commerce, and even the corporate world. The pandemic has accelerated the adoption of digital technology, even the education domain. The economy today is no longer driven by real currency transactions, but also the electronic transactions that take place across the globe within a matter of seconds. The increasing use of digital media and the business communication and also the data dissemination has led to rapid growth of e-commerce, m-commerce, innovation, and growth across the world. Dependence on internet has led to business getting established over the internet and leading to faster trade in wealth and assets in most cases by using secured internet transactions. Business transactions over social networking sites have led to coining of the new term called social shopping. Even as the COVID-19 pandemic exacts a bitter toll on the economy, it is catalyzing digital transformation across business models, channels, and touch points. Banking and payments, critical pillars of the economy, are among the core areas that have seen major uptick in digital offerings and adoption. Digitalization has emerged as a pillar for sustainability. The digitalization of manufacturing is changing how products are designed, fabricated, used, and serviced just as it starts transforming the operations, process, and energy footprints of the factories and supply chains. This is not limiting to marketing and business transactions alone. Digitalization has brought a paradigm shift to the traditional ways of manufacturing, handling, storing, and transporting things. Computer-aided designing and manufacturing processes have revolutionized the manufacturing industry, and the deployment of industrial robots, which are digitally controlled, have become the order of the day across industries. There are 4 types of digital transformation: business process, business model, domain, and cultural organizational. We often see corporations focus solely on the process or organizational transformation. Failure to address all 4 types leaves significant value on the table. Virtually every organization on the planet has in recent years worked systematically to reinvent its business processes for the sake of growth and effectiveness. To avail benefits of digitalization, it is important for an organization to train employees. One thing is for sure, IT skills will soon be a key qualification in the departments. So for employees, it is important to continuously upgrade themselves with latest technologies, enabling the organizations to attain excellence in their area of operations. So there are few takes from this digital scenario. To meet continuously increasing customer expectations through evolution of apps and software, speed is most important. Digitalization adds speed to completion of tasks. Artificial intelligence will be front and center of organizations in the future. Digital transformation will be the business transformation. Despite the fact that we are many years into the digital wave of change, it was clear from that the complexities of business are only escalating. The stakes are growing faster than ever. The speed of change is getting faster than ever. And for many, the determination to drive large enterprises to the winner circle of the digital world is more profound than ever. Digitalization is the biggest advantage, is enabling and empowering people for intelligent and empowering people for intelligent decision making. At the highest level, this decision making can turn companies to profitability and nations to awakening. At the end, I would like to congratulate the director and the team PIMG for conducting international conference, which is for the first time being conducted on a virtual platform. I wish the conference a grand success. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would request Dr. Rajkumari Sharma, Assistant Professor, Prestige Institute of Management, Gwalior, to introduce our special guest, Professor Dogan Goldsroy, to the gathering. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, madam. A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, in the 12th International Conference being organized at Prestige Institute of Management, Gwalior, I take proud privilege to introduce our special guest, Dr. Dogan Goldsroy. Dr. Dogan Goldsroy is the Teco Bell Distinguished Professor in Hospitality Business Management at Washington State University in the School of Hospitality Business Management and the editor of Journal of Hospitality Marketing and Management. He is also the developer and designer of Hotel Simulation, a virtual management training game where participants are divided into teams and assigned the task of running 500-room hotels in a competitive virtual workplace. The hotel business management training simulation has been used for both revenue management and hospitality management purposes by several institutions. Dr. Gurzoy is recognized as one of the leading researchers in the hospitality and tourism area. His area of research includes sustainability, services management, hospitality and tourism marketing, tourist behavior, travelers information search behavior, community support for tourism development, cross-cultural studies, consumer behavior, involvement, and generational leadership. His research has been published broadly. His research has also been presented at numerous hospitality and tourism conferences and received numerous research awards. Dr. Gursoy has recently been recognized as one of the top 10 authors in the world in terms of publications in the top 6 hospitality tourism journals during the past decade. Indeed, a manpower excellence, ladies and gentlemen. In my most humble words, sir, I take proud privilege to invite you to address the August gathering of this conference. Dr. Gursoy.
Yeah, thank you very much for the nice introduction. It was very kind. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, thank you for the nice introduction, and also thank you for inviting me. I attended this conference a few years ago. It was a great experience. I really enjoy the conference and also the tours, the places, the people I met during the conference. It was a really nice experience. And I would like to thank, again, really inviting me to this conference. And I know there's a huge time difference. It's morning in India, and in Pullman, Washington, it is middle of the night. So we are almost 11 hours behind you. So what I'm going to talk about today is I'm going to talk about the technology and the tourism industry. And if you think about when the first online booking with payment took place, it wasn't 50 years ago. I mean, it happened in 1994. I know the students, most of the students are too young to remember, but I'm sure that there are lots of people in the audience that who can remember the mid-90s, early 2000. And the first online booking with payment happened in 1994. Since then, the technology really disrupted how we deliver, how we market, how we distribute hospitality. And I mean, when I was younger, I used to work for a British tour operator. And the way our operation was work, and the way we worked was we had to call London to be and connect to their network so we could download the client list. And then we had to call London to get the list. And then before that, we were using telex. I'm sure some of you may remember telex. And now what we are doing is just a click, push a button, and you get the whole list. And now consumers are making hospitality and tourism consumers making all their bookings online, and that's ended really the travel agency business. And also it has it really influenced how we distribute the hotel products, and we all make our bookings online now. And now we are living in unprecedented times because of COVID-19. And because of COVID-19, more and more consumers are willing to accept the use of high-tech devices or artificial intelligence devices in a service delivery. And since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, we have been collecting data from American consumers. We collect data every month to measure, to track changes in their sentiments. And one of the questions we ask about their acceptance of technology. If I can share my screen, I can show you. Let's see if I can share it. Yeah. I mean, if you look at this PowerPoint, I mean, we ask the consumers whether they would accept the use of various technologies in service delivery and also various technologies in hotels. And if you look at the percentage of people who said, I mean, through over several months, and then since the beginning of the pandemic, the percentage of the number of people who have been saying that they are more willing to accept the use of technology in service delivery at restaurants or hotels, and the percentages keeps going up since the beginning of the pandemic. I think one of the reasons is if you are using high-tech devices such as robots or artificial intelligence devices, that minimizes the human contact, and that lowers the chance of getting infected. And people have to make a trade-off between getting infected or dealing with technology, and they are willing to deal with the technology. And also in recent years, because of the cost of delivering hospitality and tourism products, because of the labor cost, an increasing number of hotels and restaurants and airlines, airports are using high-tech devices. I mean, one time I was in China, and then we called the room service, and we were expecting someone to deliver our room service. I mean, around 15 minutes after we ordered the room service, we got a phone call, and then apparently the robot, service delivery robot, was calling us and asked us to open the door. We opened the door, robot was outside with our order. And then we picked the order from the robot, and then a robot went back to where it came from. And restaurants are using artificial intelligence robots, and hotels are using it. And in recent years, we also have been looking at the factors what affects consumers' acceptance of artificial intelligence devices. And what our research tells us is that consumers are willing to accept the use of artificial intelligence devices in service delivery. But I mean, depending on the type of service, the type of service will determine whether they will, to what degree they will accept the acceptance of service delivery. If the service is a functional service, like an airline service, like doing the check-in or providing services that are related to airlines, then consumers are more willing to accept that type of services delivered by different technological devices. But if it's a hedonic type of service, then they don't want their service to be delivered by robots. They want the human. But also, I mean, we also have been looking at social interaction among customers. And then we looked at whether the businesses that provide services in social setting, whether they should use technology or human services. And what our research told us, if you use technology in delivery of services, your customers will be happier. Their satisfaction will be higher, because if you use technology, then you minimize employee interruption or service redundancy. That saves money to the businesses, but also it increases customer satisfaction. So in recent years, more and more studies are looking into how use of technology can affect customer satisfaction while maximizing profits. And the research basically suggests that using technology can help both. And you don't have to sacrifice customer service if you are using technology. The way if you use the technology to deliver the right type of services, you can increase customer service and also you can increase your profitability. I think that's the key point when it comes to integrating technology, using technology in service delivery, especially in our field. I mean, if you think about it, I know the cost of labor in India is not very high. But if you look at cost of labor in US, in Europe, or also even in countries like China, it's getting higher and higher. So we are using an increasing number of different types of technologies for service delivery. And also we are becoming a cashless society. I mean, in many countries, people don't carry cash anymore. They make all their payments using their cell phones. And also they are using integrated system that they order their orders using the cell phone. They don't have to deal with employees. They make the payment through the cell phone. They make their table reservation through their cell phones. I mean, everything is, we are living in a very integrated society. Everything is connected. And with technology enables us to bypass many of the middle people who used to provide the services that were in between you and the product you order. Now we are basically directly dealing with the producers, and technology is really helping us to satisfy or to provide satisfactory services while improving our efficiency. I think I'll stop here. This is a huge topic. We can talk about this for hours. But I'll stop here. Again, thank you for inviting me. I mean, the conference, I went through the conference program. It's very well organized. While I was there, I had the same feeling that this was a very well organized conference. I'm sure it will be a great success. It will be a great learning opportunity for both presenters and also attendees. And thank you again, and congratulations to organizers. Thank you.
Thank you ever so much, Dr. Gursoy, for your valuable words of wisdom ripened with deep knowledge. I now take privilege, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce to you an avid academician and a prolific researcher, yes, none other than the keynote speaker of the conference, Dr. Justin Paul. Dr. Justin Paul currently serves as editor-in-chief of International Journal of Consumer Studies, a 45-year-old global academic journal ranked as A grade by Australian Business Deans Council. A former faculty member with the University of Washington, he is a full professor of PhD and MBA programs, University of Puerto Rico, USA. He holds 2 honorary titles as Distinguished Scholar and Distinguished Professor with Indian Institute of Management, Kozhikode, and SIBM, the premier business schools in South Asia. He is also known as an author and co-author of books such as Business Environment, 4th edition, International Marketing, Services Marketing, Export-Import Management, 2nd edition, Management of Banking and Financial Services by Tata McGraw-Hill, Oxford University Press, and Pearson, respectively. Dr. Paul has served as lead guest editor with the International Business Review, Journal of Business Research, Journal of Retailing and Consumer Services, Asia Pacific Business Review, and European Business Review. He serves as an associate editor with European Management Journal and Journal of Strategic Marketing as well. He has also edited special issues for Small Bus Economics and Journal of Promotion Management. He was senior and associate editor for International Journal of Emerging Markets, the Services Industries Journal, and European Journal of International Management for 3 years. Dr. Paul introduced Mastage model and measure for brand management, CPP model for internationalization, scope framework for small firms, and 7P framework for international marketing. His articles have been downloaded over 700,000 times during last 6 years. He has published over 70 research papers in SSCI journals and 80 in Scopus. Out of this, over 40 papers are in A or A-star journals as per the Australian Business Deans Council list.
Oh.
He has also served as a faculty member of Nagoya University, Japan, and IIM. In addition, he has also taught at Versailles, France, RS University, Denmark, Grenoble École de Management and University of Lithuania, Warsaw, Poland, and has conducted several research programs and workshops in countries such as Austria, United States of America, Spain, Croatia, and China. He has been a program director for training diplomats from different countries and also holds an honorary title as Professor of Eminence at a government university. He has been an invited speaker at several institutions such as University of Chicago, Vienna Uni of Commerce and Business, Austria, Fudan, and UIBE China, as well as Barcelona and Madrid. He has published 3 best-selling case studies with Ivy and Harvard. Indeed, a man par excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, in my humble words, sir, I request you to kindly address the noble August gathering of the conference. Paul.
साउंड शेयर नहीं किया हो गया अच्छा अच्छा ओके 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 I'll do that just a second. Not going. I'm not able to see the control actually.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to be here today to deliver this invited talk as part of your conference. It gives me immense pleasure because I'm happy that your institute is organizing such a wonderful conference during this crisis time. And I would like to congratulate your director and your dean and your professors and everyone associated with this conference for organizing such a wonderful and meaningful conference on a contemporary topic. I would like to share some of my thoughts as part of this conference, which might help you to emerge as a successful academician, as an author, and as a good researcher who can publish very well. I serve as editor-in-chief of an A-ranked journal, International Journal of Consumer Studies. I also serve as an associate editor of Journal of Business Research and European Management Journal and Journal of Strategic Marketing these days. I have served a couple of other journals as senior editor. I was senior editor of International Journal of Emerging Markets for 3 years. I also served as an associate editor with Services Industries Journal and so on. Based on my experiences as an editor, I have prepared a module on publishing in premier journals. I would try to share some of my insights and experience today with you based on research I have carried out and based on my experience as a reviewer and as an editor. I would like to begin with you about my journey, what I did and how I transformed myself. I got my PhD 16 and a half years ago now. And Initially, I did not like the academic research very much. I thought this lacks practitioner-oriented wisdom. However, later I realized the opportunities in academia. I realized that there are unlimited opportunities in academia. You have a lot of freedom which you don't get, which you never get in industry. Set up in academia, if you work hard, you have no limit. The sky is your limit. You can emerge as a successful subject expert. You can emerge as a vice chancellor, or you can be worldwide. You can be known worldwide as an editor, as an author, and so many opportunities. And I explored some of them. I have already been to more than 70 countries as an academician, as a professor, with invitation sponsorship from different universities from different countries. This include Australia, this include Vienna in Austria, and this include Scotland, this include China, a couple of times in China. This include so many countries, including Netherlands and all the sought after countries in Europe and America and Australasia. So all this was possible because of my teaching and research. And I'm very happy and satisfied as an academician. And I would like to encourage you to have a happy and prosperous career in academia by way of engaging in research and role model teaching. You can be a role model teacher and you can teach worldwide. But if you don't do research, you never get a job with a premier institute. In my career, I started my life as an IIM professor. I was an assistant professor and department chair at IIM. And then I left and I went to Japan as an associate professor. And then I moved to University of Washington as a visiting associate professor from Japan. And I spent a year as a full-time visiting associate professor on contract basis job at University of Washington Foster School of Business in Seattle, which is one of the famous business schools. Then I moved to University of Puerto Rico as a full professor, and I published several articles. I published more than 105 SSCI listed journal articles and more than 120 Scopus listed journal articles. And in order to publish all these articles, I have received more than 2,000 rejections. So that means almost every paper gets rejected 20 times. And such a eventful and such an illustrious and challenging at the same time, because when every rejection comes, you feel pain. This is also part of life in academia. So, but all these give you some kind of recognition. So I would like to encourage you to do some serious research and publish, and you will have a lot of opportunities. I would like to share my screen and talk about some do's, and these are real tips that will help you to publish in academia. Yeah. Do's and don'ts while developing research papers. This is a conference, so you should be in a position to write great research papers so that you have more opportunities, and you should publish your conference paper in good journals. As I mentioned, I serve as an editor-in-chief these days, and I would like to share my email. It is profjust@gmail.com in case if you want to contact me, and you can also find me online by searching my name on Google, and my website is drjustinpaul.com. You can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook too. International Journal of Consumer Studies. This is the journal where I'm serving as chief editor these days. It is an A-rank journal according to ABDC Australian list. It's a 45-year-old global academic journal. And I do have 13 associate editors from different countries, which include 3 from Australia and 1 from New Zealand, and a couple of them from England and so on. And yes, our target is to have 3 impact factor next year and 5 impact factor 2022 and 2023 is 6.5. And we have launched an annual special issue for literature review article. This is also including conceptual articles that is aiming for theory developments. We prefer theory development papers, and we prefer generalized papers. We prefer systematic literature reviews that are useful for global audience. Global audience is our target, so we prefer articles that are written with the view generalized objectives for the global audience. I also serve as an associate editor of European Management Journal and Journal of Business Research, and these are great journals. These are interdisciplinary journals, so people working on any of the subject area related to business and economics can submit papers to European Management Journal and Journal of Business Research. And European Management Journal has 2.9 impact factor, and Journal of Business Research has 4.9 impact factor. European Management Journal is a joint venture journal from University of Glasgow and ESCP London. It covers all areas of business management studies. Yeah, so and my responsibility is as an editor of international business articles in both journals. Journal of Strategic Marketing is an A-rank journal, and I serve as an associate editor in this journal too. And I would like to share some do's. These do's include: follow generalized approach. When you prepare and develop a paper before submitting to the journal, try to follow these rules. Try to follow these thumb rule. These are thumb rules. These are do's. For example, number 1, follow generalized approach. Don't talk too much about your country and topic. Instead, talk and focus on your topic and theme in the introduction, abstract, and so on. In the introduction specifically. And next, do provide the reader with a roadmap of how your paper is going to flow. Roadmap paragraph should be the last paragraph in your introduction section. Number 3, highlight the originality of your study in abstract and introduction. It's important. Because if you don't talk about originality, your study will not get accepted in a good journal. You have to highlight and explain the uniqueness of your study. There has to be a unique selling proposition in your study. We don't have a unique selling proposition in your study, and if you don't highlight originality of your study will get rejected. And next point, do plagiarism check, because 20% of submissions are plagiarized. Yeah, this is very important because many papers coming from different countries, including some papers coming from premier institutes like IIMs and IITs, are plagiarized. So make sure that you do the plagiarism check before submitting to the journal if you want to have your own reputation. Cite recent papers, preferably from target journal, and do robustness checks such as multicollinearity in time series studies and common method bias in cross-section studies. This is important because these are called robustness checks. Common method bias has become a popular robustness check these days. Get it English edited and proofread by someone else. Derive hypotheses in an empirical paper, research questions in a qualitative paper, theoretical testable propositions in a conceptual paper. These are important. And next point, focus on findings of prior studies. You can even include a table and try to corroborate and contrast your findings with the findings in the discussion section. Yeah, this is important because your findings can be synthesized in the form of table, and you try to corroborate with the prior studies. This will help you. And next point, next do, implement all comments if you get revision. This is critical. Otherwise, your paper will get rejected. Many people try to defend. I would suggest don't defend if you get revision. Just do it. And next point, select a topic with newness and novelty and avoid recycled topics. You need to select a topic with newness and novelty. This is critical. And next point, focus on conceptual, analytical, and presentation dimensions. You need to have conceptual contribution in your paper. You need to have analytical contribution from your paper. And you need to have presentation dimension or presentation aspect in your paper. These 3 are critical. So I would prefer to wind up my speech with this. And I would like to encourage you to send me an email to profjust@gmail.com if you have any questions. Otherwise, you can also follow me on ResearchGates and on YouTube, youtube.com/Dr. Justin Paul. Otherwise, you can find me if you search me on YouTube, Dr. Justin Paul on YouTube. And I also have a Facebook page, facebook.com/Dr. Justin Paul. If you like to follow me and get useful updates, special issue call for prepares and so on. Click a like on facebook.com/Dr. Justin Paul. My Twitter is also twitter.com/Dr. Justin Paul. So thank you very much for this invitation, and stay in touch. I would be happy to help you and submit your papers to good journal, including our journals, and do a good job. Have a great life. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Paul. You rightly quoted Khalil Gibran, that sky is the limit. Indeed, digitalization offers immense scope. Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. I now take privilege, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce our special guest for the occasion, Dr. Sudhir Rana. Dr. Sudhir Rana is currently working as professor at Fortune Institute of International Business, New Delhi. He believes in driving and motivating academics and research such a way that it can be best utilized in an enthusiastic and dynamic environment to foster versatile personalities. He is a marketing area faculty. His teaching and research interests include international marketing, consumer behavior, business development, sales, and negotiation, as well as internationalization and customer relationship management. He is an MBA and PhD with MHRD scholarship from Government of India and postdoctorate from Putra Business School, Malaysia. His research profile is followed by publications into ABDC, ABS, Scopus, and Web of Sciences ranked and index journals published by Emerald, IndoScience, Sage, and Nielsen Journal Publishing, etc. Dr. Rana is a versatile academician. He performs various roles as guest faculty, scholar, editor, editorial board member, guest editor, author, guest speaker, panel speaker, moderator, conference speaker, session chair, committee member, and convener, as well as an workshop expert at various platforms in India and overseas. His association with the journals like Journal of International Business Education, International Journal of Business and Globalization, Journal of International Business Education, International Journal of Indian Culture and Business Management, FIIB Business Review, and International Journal of Supply Chain and Operations Resilience always motivate quality research to get at their best homes. Few of his ongoing projects are consumer response to nostalgic brands, digital resources, and international marketing strategies, business education in India. We welcome you, sir. In my humble words, I request you to kindly address the online gathering of the conference. Dr. Sudhir Rana.
Thank you so much, madam. Thank you so much for your kind words and a beautiful introduction. I would like to congratulate the entire team of Prestige. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Professor Rituraj Babar, Professor S.S. Bakar, and the entire team of 12th International Management Conference. Congratulate to you that you kept the show going on no matter what time it is and no matter how we are doing it. It's the perfect example of digitalization that has brought the convenience to the human life. That's instead what time we have gone through, the world has gone through to the unprecedented time and we kept everything going on. This has happened just because of the technology and especially the digital technologies. Well, at the same time, picking from the verse from my seniors who just spoke before me, I was just thinking that yes, digitalization has brought a lot of convenience and comfort to the human life. But at the same time, when I look at or something that my friend said, um, a professor from hospitality, that human emotions has become really difficult to understand and difficult to respond on in this time. Digitalization bring a lot of convenience, comfort to the human life, but at the same time, the affection and emotions is something that cannot be explained or cannot be responded to. Second thing is, yes, digital companies like Ola, Uber, Airbnb, Swiggy, all these. Professor Bhagar, yes, I totally agree with you that these were the organizations developed themselves in the past 5 years or a decade. But during this time, these are the organizations who have undergone a lot of financial instability or the business instability. So, no issues. What I'm trying to advocate is that any innovation that comes with certain challenges, comes with certain constraints, and it is not that we got it and we ended with it. Digitalization has begun, and now it is the time when we are going to respond to what it is calling us to do. What are the new challenges or new constraints these innovations are making us to ponder upon and think upon? So this is my suggestion to all my fellow colleagues and scholars out here, that yes, we have stepped into it. So let us let us see what all problems or constraints this situation and these innovations are bringing to us. Let us respond them together. Let us address them together. Something that I was thinking 3 days back when I was meeting to one of the audience like this with other my fellow colleagues. We were thinking that when it comes to innovation, we all want to be a part of it, but can we alone respond it? Probably not. And when it comes that we have that capability individually, yes, but how do we do it? We need to do it together. So I'll not take much time. I'll just say that to add something, so to bring the human emotions on surface, I'm happy to share something for the conference participants, and especially for these conference participants that will be useful to them. So currently, well, my new affiliations are that I'm working as a senior editor with International Journal of Emerging Markets. International Journal of Emerging Markets is a good journal, but I recently have proposed a special issue on role of digital sources and technology advancement, because this conference is addressing that issue. So if you are working on any of the paper, the deadline is still there. So I'm sure that when you're presenting your paper in the conference, you may have the paper ready. So you may like to submit to the special issue that I'm editing with International Journal of Technology Marketing. And you can submit this paper by the end of this month. So if this paper is ready, you may like to submit in this special issue. And this special issue is, like I said, it's on totally role of digital sourcing and technological advancements. So specifically, like I said, that we need to look into the problems that which is bringing. When we will look into the problems, only then the solutions will come, and a continuous improvement will will go on. So if you are interested, you may like to share the paper with me or with Rituraj, Professor Rituraj Babar. So we can take that forward. One is that way. Second, I'm very happy to share, I'm sure you have seen the collaboration of FIB Business Review with your own conference where you're presenting your paper. And there also, Professor Babar and Professor Bhagat, Professor Arunkar, they have proposed a special issue in FIB Business Review. And this special issue is also on digitalization as a vehicle of innovation. So you may also like to share your paper with them. I'm sure you must have already done, but you may like to take some pointers from them to make your paper more suitable. And if you think that I can be helpful in giving you some pointers, then please feel free to reach out to me. The reason of showing these two journal is not what we do. Like I told you, that I believe that together we need to be a part of this innovation, and together only we can address. In silos, it's very difficult to explore and respond to any problem that we face into the human and research world. My best wishes once again to Conference Committee and Prestige Institute of Management Gwalior. Thank you so much for having me here. And I'm sure that you're going to have a wonderful learning 2 days together. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Dr. Rana. Our heartiest gratitude for you for counting so well our efforts to organize this conference. Thank you ever so much. I now take privilege, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce the guest of honor for the occasion, Dr. Pawan Kumar Singh. Dr. Pawan Kumar Singh is currently working as Professor, Indian Institute of Management, Indore. He is engaged for more than 3 decades in academics in the field of postgraduate teaching and management, training, research, consulting, and academic administration. He has a unique blend of experience, having served in academics in all types of institutions: State University, Ujjain and Kanpur, Central University, IGNOU, New Delhi, National Institute, Mumbai, and Indian Institute, Indore. Indian Institute of Management, Indore. He operates in the field of organizational behavior and human resource management, Indian ethos, and managerial values and skills. Before career in academics, he worked with Bank of India as Industrial Relations Officer. Dr. Singh is PhD in Management from Vikram University, Ujjain, postgraduate in Personnel Management and Industrial Relations from Xavier Institute of Social Service, Ranchi, and MA in Economics from Ranchi University as well. He graduated with economics as major with mathematics and English literature. He qualified National Eligibility Test of UGC in 1984, the very year in which JRF was introduced by UGC. He has attended summer school certificate program in research methodology at London School of Economics and Political Science. Dr. Singh has published numerous research papers, 2 books, 1 booklet in the field of managing people. He has guided research at PhD level. He has presented about 75 research papers in national and international seminars in India and abroad. He is also on the editorial board of reputed journals. He has written postgraduate level course material in management suitable for distance education mode and has prepared audio on interviewing skills as well. For faculty development, he has conducted various sessions and has prepared video material sponsored by Ministry of Human Resource Development. Dr. Singh has trained more than 15,000 executive participants from almost all walks of professional activities across all levels of hierarchy. He has provided consultancy to various organizations of public as well as private sector. He has been invited as speaker on more than 100 occasions, including those organized by reputed academic institutions such as CII, PHDCC, ISTD, LIC, Roundtable, various management institutions and associations, Rotary Club, Lions Club, and various professional bodies. His discussions have been broadcasted on national channels on television. Dr. Singh has been member of various academic and government bodies. Among various responsibilities in the field of academic administration, he has also worked as director in charge of IIM Indore and chairperson of academic committee of IIM Sambalpur. As nodal officer of IIM Sambalpur, he played sheet anchor role in mentoring the institute. Dr. Singh also enjoys certain hobbies. He enjoys traveling. In cricket playing, he has represented teams as all-rounder up to Railways divisional level team, Bank of India zonal level team, and team of IIM Indore in CII tournament. He enjoys music, astronomy, poetry, and quotations. His one of the favorite quotes is, "We are always preparing to live, but never living." All the best, Dr. Pawan Kumar, indeed an institution in himself. I take privilege and request you in my most humble words to kindly address the gathering. Dr. Pawan Kumar Singh.
I just want to check, am I audible? Am I visible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Rajmata Vijaya Raje Scindia Krishi Vishwavidyalaya Gwalior, Professor S. Koteshwar Rao ji, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Jivaji University, Professor Sangeeta Shukla ji, Chairperson of Prestige Education Foundation and the very soul of Prestige Institute Group of Institutions, Dr. Davish Jain ji, Professor Justin Paul ji, the keynote speaker of today, and I have been I want to say that great happiness that Professor Justin Paul and myself worked together for some time in IIM Indore, and at that time he was prolific textbook author, and now we are very happy to see him. Apart from being a textbook author, he has also developed himself as a great contributor in the field of research. Professor Dogan Gursoy-ji, the special guest. Professor Sudhir Rana-ji, the special guest of today's inaugural function. Professor S.S. Bhaker Sahab, my very good friend and well-wisher, the principal of Prestige Management Institute, Gwalior, and the conference chairman. Professor Ruturaj Babarji, very young faculty and very, very energetic. Thank you for inviting me to this occasion. Invited guests, all delegates, faculty of Prestige Institute of Management, Gwalior, and other institutes, research scholars, dear students, ladies and gentlemen. So I have got 3 to 4 minutes to talk, and I would like to say that the topic itself, digitization as vehicle for innovation, organization growth and effectiveness, this is very apt topic. Sometimes I critically analyze also the topic given in conference. I find it very apt topic because it conveys certain deeper meaning. See the title of the conference itself, and especially I would like to draw the attention of researchers. Digitization as vehicle for whatever. And what vehicle does? If you want to travel between Gwalior to Datia, then purpose is to reach Datia. And vehicle you may use a very, very luxury vehicle or ordinary vehicle or a bicycle, whatever may be, or on foot. So vehicle means researcher need to understand that either the factor of digitization will be used in research, in primary research, either as independent variable, or it may be treated as moderating variable, or it may be treated as mediating variable, because digitization itself is not a goal, it is a means. So it may not be, unless the research demands, may not be treated as the dependent variable, because it is enabler, it is a vehicle, it is a mediator, it is a moderator, it is a facilitator. And anything that facilitates may be either independent variable or moderating variable or mediating variable, depending on your research model. Now, when we say digitization, the age of digitization has already arrived. It must start opening many ideas in the mind of researcher, academicians, practitioners, industrialists, etc. Rudyard Kipling had said, he was the 7th Nobel Prize winner in the field of literature. Rudyard Kipling, who was born in India, said, "I keep 6 honest serving men. They taught me all I know. Their names are what and why and when, and how and where and who." Their names are what and why and when, and how and where and who. Apart from these all 6 dimensions of inquiry, because unless we have mind of inquiry, we will not find any answer. And let me say to young students and researchers that finding answer is important, but more important is finding the right question. If we are able to raise right question in the field of our profession, or right question in the field of our personal life or goal of life, we will find answer. But do we have developed the art and science of raising right question at right time? So when the issue of digitization is at front, at your doorstep, in this case, we should keep asking right kind of question, and that will actually open up new vistas for intervention of digitization for better human life. So think about it, that what kind of digitization we need, why we need, first of all, why? Because why is the prime question. Why we need has been answered, I think, already. Why we need, it means we need, and there is no debate now whether we need it or not. But then we have to see that how digitization can be useful. Let me give you certain examples that digitization must be able to help us to think afresh in a very, very different way, in innovative way, because innovation, growth, and effectiveness, these have been identified as dependent variable for this topic on this conference. Let me say you one thing. In 1960s or 70s, when the head of the family, an engineer, used to go to his or her plant, rest of the family members would not know what this my father or my husband or my brother does, because engineering was done in 60s or 70s in the plant and in the home. The engineer used to lead a human life, but that was the age of typical manufacturing, and then came the age of industrial engineering. Because I have served earlier also at one institute, HRD Ministries Institute in Mumbai. Its name itself is National Institute of Industrial Engineering. Then when the first phase was, when engineer, what he does in the plant, nobody knows in the family, that was typically engineering devoid of human interaction. But then came the age of industrial engineering. And industrial engineering was the age when we started analyzing the momentum created between technology and human being. When they come together, how their coming together can be more beneficial, can be more optimized. So industrial engineering talked about bringing human being and technology at one place. Human being and technology. So that is interface of human resource management and technology. But then came another age of communication technology. In communication technology, you see, everybody is talking about technology. Either you are technology graduate or not. Communication technology revolutionized the things. In past 1 decade, we have seen that communication has come to the center stage, and communication is now technology enabled. So communication, not only unlike industrial engineering brought human being and technology together, actually it made that technology more human. And you know, when I'm using this apparatus for talking to you, I do not know what are the mechanism of this apparatus and what is the basically its mechanical engineering or electrical engineering or mechatronics involved in it, but I can use it because in communication age, the human being and technology, they got embedded with one another. But now fourth stage it has come. After communication revolution, it has come the age of digitization. It is entering everywhere. Everywhere. So I will end my discussion by pinpointing 2 things and drawing your attention towards 2 areas. Either you are a student, or you are teacher, or you are a researcher, or you are consultant, or anything, industrialist. 2 things have become important. Now, in the age of digitization, humanity and technology have come together. Not only human being and technology, but entire technology and humanity. So technology being enabler is now serving the purpose of humanity. Sometimes you will find, even in the area of marketing, that does not belong to me. I do not know much of marketing. I have been a student of human resource. But the age has come that though you may be specialized in one area, you should have some idea of other areas. In marketing, we find, let us take example of, let us say, augmented reality. Now, there we find that as if technology or digitization is going to replace human being. No, not at all. As a student of human resource management, I will say more technology will develop, more digitization would take place in this world, more the human being will come at the center stage. I am very sure about my subject. As somebody told me in 1992-93 that after new economy, when economy opened up, the industrial relations and human resource management, these all will become obsolete. But one thing we should keep noting, that as we grow technologically, as we grow through various other means, actually human being itself will be coming to more and more at the center stage, because everything is for humanity. And that's why point number 1, either you take augmented reality in marketing, or you take artificial engineering in the area of production. These all will never be able to substitute a human being, but they will be only enabling the humanity to progress further, to flourish further. So that is point number 1. And point number 2, that digitization in future will be a great research area for thinking in terms of integrating all the sectors of economy. For example, we have done enough of bifurcation, trifurcation, quadrifurcation, primary sector, secondary sector, and then tertiary sector. So primary sector, natural resources, manufacturing sector is the secondary sector, and consumerism or consumer related issues or service sector in the tertiary sector. digitization actually does not know that there are three sectors because it is integrating all the sectors. That's why, though for academic clarity, we should know that there are three sectors in the economy, but digitization is bringing primary sector, the secondary sector, and the tertiary sector all into one fold. So this is the era of integration without losing focus of specialization. This is era of integration, because we have seen one phase of development of education, or let us say knowledge, that sometimes we used to say it is age of generalists. Then we started saying it is age of specialists, because doctors of left ankle and right ankle, they will be differently specialized persons, and right elbow and left elbow, they will be differently specialized persons. And yes, they are there, but now we have moved from the age of generalists to specialists to, let us say, persons who will be able to integrate by giving equal value to specialization and grand integration, because digitization is here with a promise to help humanity in a very, very integrated way. And that's why production management, marketing management, even human resource management, and to great extent finance management, all these need to be integrated. So this is the age of grand integration, and digitization is the enabler. I wish all the best to the organizer, to Prestige Institute of Management Gwalior, an institute which I like very much. I have good number of friends working there. I have been visiting there. Only because of Corona we could not meet, but had it been no Corona age, perhaps I would have been in Gwalior today with you all. Thank you very much for organizing this conference and helping researchers, and especially young researchers, to open up the petals of their minds and heart to understand.
Sir, please unmute, sir.
So thank you very much. I was just saying that thank you very much to all in the family of Prestige Institute of Management Gwalior and Prestige Institute of Management on the whole, including Gwalior, Indore, and Devas. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you, Dr. Singh, for truly underlining the justified purpose of technology, and that is that technology should be humanized. Let us integrate technology with humanity. On that note, I would request Assistant Professor Dr. Sonal Saxena to kindly proceed with the session further.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Talent can win a game, but constant hard work and consistency can achieve perfection, which can lead to not only psychological satisfaction, but also to organization you are associated with. Prestige Institute of Management Gwalior feels really proud to announce, felicitate, and congratulate Dr. Praveen Aronkar for completing his PhD in the year 2020. Also, I would like to say that we are not a team because we work together. We are a team because we respect, trust, and care for each other. We feel extremely splendid and noble to herald and felicitate Dr. Nishchay Upmanyu and Mr. Yogendra Rathore for completing 10 years of their tenure in the institution, and Mr. B.K. Srivastava for completing 20 years of his tenure in the institution. Prestige Institute of Management is proud to and thankful to you all for providing your services for the institution. Now, I would again request Dr. Rajkumari Sharma to introduce our noteworthy chief guest to the gathering. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, ma'am. I take proud privilege, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce to you now the chief guest for the occasion, Professor Surpanini Koteshwara Rao. Professor Surpanini Koteshwara Rao is currently working as Vice Chancellor Rajmata Vijayaraje Scindia Krishi Vishwavidyalaya, Gwalior. Professor Surpanini Koteshwara Rao is an accomplished plant breeder by profession and an able research manager as well as an administrator. He was born in Polukonda, Krishna district of Andhra Pradesh, India on 8th March 1952. He obtained his doctorate and master degree from JNAU Jabalpur with a certificate of honors and BSc from Andhra Pradesh University, having a brilliant academic record. He was awarded Department of Atomic Energy Scholarship for his PhD program. He has served more than 36 years in JNAU of Madhya Pradesh. Professor Surpanini Koteshwara Rao attained expertise in several externally funded national as well as international research projects and participated in various global programs organized in Germany, United States of America, Mexico, Uruguay, and Japan. He has developed several crop varieties like JG322, JGG1, JG63, TJM3, JW3173, JW3211, JW1203, and JW1202, along with JW1215, JW3288, Jawahar Fababean 1, and 2 early maturing rice hybrids, namely JRH4 and JRH5, JRH8, JRH19, and JR81, which has improved Chinur, Jeera, Sanker, and JS9752. He was associated with establishment of brand image for high quality seeds and planting materials called Jawahar seeds, which led Jawaharlal Nehru Agriculture University to emerge as a top ranking institution for breeder seed production in the National Agriculture Research System in India. He has published over 200 research papers and several articles in national and international journals and edited a book on promotion of public breed hybrids of field crops and published a book on field crop seed production technology, principles and practices as a co-author. He has restructured the commercial farm operations of research farms from cost center to profit center through development of infrastructure, business plans, effective monitoring of programs, development of diversified seed production programs, university leadership, quantity and quality of breeder seed production and management. Established agri-business incubator and developed JNKVV seed and biofertilizer consortium and guided 30 MSc and 10 PhD students. He is involved in curriculum development at the national level for vocational courses in agriculture, provided the farmers seed cooperatives policy to government of Madhya Pradesh, contributed in the inter-institutional linkages for the establishment of the farmer seed cooperatives as a federation and supported farmer self-help groups, championed farmers for participation in seed production programs in the rural areas, enhanced the varietal seed replacement rates, resulted in increased net returns to farmers. Responsible for capacity building of graduate, postgraduate, doctoral level, 1,000 senior seed management professionals in the industry and seed industry management. He has got excellent project management and multitasking skills as well, plus ability to manage resources effectively and work efficiently in fast-paced environment while prioritizing responsibilities to meet time-sensitive deadlines. He has promoted more than 50 entrepreneurs for the business development in seed, biofertilizer ventures, etc. He has licensed the rice hybrid technologies, promoted he has promoted farmer producer companies, trained agro service providers for rural employment generation. He has also established agri-business and agri-clinic center at agri-business incubator. He has been figured in various committees of National Agriculture Research and Development System, like Board of Directors of Management Committee of MP Seeds, MP State Cooperative Seed Federation and Marketing Limited. He is also a member of RAC, IMC, QRT of several ICAR institutes in the country. Also the member of the Task Force Committee to streamline and ensure the registration of extant notified varieties of ICAR SAU system with the protection of PVPFRA, member of the Task Force on Documentation, Indexing and Cataloging of Farmers, Varieties Task Force, PPVFRA MOA GOI 2014, co-convener of the 5th Dean Committee constituted by the ICAR for Agriculture Science. He has been the Chairman, Research Advisory Council, Indian Institute of Seed Research, and member of accreditation team of ICAR. Indeed, a very rich resume, ladies and gentlemen. I still have got a paragraph, and which is really noteworthy to mention. His contributions have been recognized with several awards, such as Rafi Ahmed Kidwai Award for Biennium 2000-2008 for outstanding contribution in field of crop science by Indian Council of Agriculture Research, New Delhi, India. Dr. Kailash Nath Katju Award for year 2008 for contributions in science by Government of Madhya Pradesh. ICAR Award for Outstanding Interdisciplinary Team Research in Agriculture and Allied Sciences for Biennium 2007-2008 for Outstanding Research Contribution in Soybean Improvement. Achievers Award 2010 for contribution in agriculture development by Society for the Advancement of Human and Nature during 2011. He is actively associated with several professional societies and awarded Fellow of the National Academy of Agriculture Sciences India, Indian Society of Pulse Research and Development, and Indian Society of Genetics and Plant Breeding. I am speechless, ladies and gentlemen, a man par excellence. We are really obliged, sir, to have you in this conference. And I now offer the mic to you online. Please share with us your valuable words. I request you very humbly to kindly address the August gathering of this conference. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam, for nice introduction. And Dr. Sangeeta Suklaji, the President of this today's inaugural function, and Dr. Devish Jainji, the Patron and the MD of the Prestige Group of Institutions, Dr. Bakar Saab, Chairman of this conference and the Director of the Prestige Institute of Management, and Rituraj Babar, Organizing Secretary of this mega event, and all the distinguished eminent academic leaders of the digitalization technologies as a special guest and the speakers and keynote address they have delivered. And I am glad here to be with all of you today. I heard all these inaugural deliverables by the eminent experts. And this is the conference, this 12th International E-Conference 2020 on digitalization as a vehicle for innovation and organizational growth and effectiveness. And it is the need of the hour. I think the India has got a lot of benefit out of these digitalization technologies, the different departments in the public and private, as well in the different industries also. And it is an emerging area across the world, especially our Prime Minister is looking at in a very big way. And it has paid the dividends to every citizen in the society, in the public sector system now. And to the best of my knowledge, there has been no multidisciplinary discussion on the role and impact of the digital transformations, and which we define as a change in how an organization employs digital technologies to develop a new digital model for functioning that helps to create an appropriate more value. And the organizers, this Prestige Institute of Management and this family, faculty, students, and organizers, and the director and the chairperson deserves an appreciation on this initiative. It is really very interesting, and I heard a lot of academic leaders in this and given a lot of information about how it is going to serve the society for the future. And it makes our lives much easier and the things faster and more accurate in the day-to-day life that everybody is realizing now during this pandemic era. Even after that also, even prior to this also, how the digitalization is creating a lot of innovations even in the IT sector, and that turns into the packages that can improve your office use efficiency, office functioning efficiency, and the production efficiency in the manufacturing sector, and as well as in the marketing and sales, and every sector of the business activity it is contributing. Even if somebody wants to have an investment in a business elsewhere all over the world, and if they have a digitalized data and then process with the digital analytics, and they can able to predict this is the growth for this product in this country, we have to go for investment in that area. All these multinational companies are adopting these technologies since the last 2 decades. But now for the last 4 or 5 years, the things are moving very fast. Many startups have come now. Even US I have seen in Silicon Valley, and different different segments of digitalization they are working. Some of the companies are managing how to manage the human resources in the office and how increase the efficiency of the office management and increase the efficiency of the previously used to talk about the e-resource planning system, entrepreneur resource planning systems, and then the CRM systems and all these things. Now the things have been changed. Interlinking of all these things to digitalization and reducing the human involvement in the decision-making process, and all these things are the important outcomes of this digitalization technology all over the world. And it is very important now, everybody has to go through that. And some of the traditional way companies and the traditional way of working and all these things, now they are getting it changed to the digitalization, and it's using those technologies and the software for improving the business activities. And these disruptive innovations only can change the game of the business development, and it increased the 5 to 10% improvement in the performance in the compared to the existing products, if you look at in any industry, and it can create a basis for 30 to 50% of reduction in the cost in different areas. If you talk about an office management or integrated university management systems or academic management programs, now the students are getting their degrees by sitting at home. And then we are keeping all our digital records at one place in one site, and anybody can download those things. And those degrees also can be verified by an employer. No need of writing to the institutions. You can imagine there's unlimited scope for this digitalization of technologies across the academics as well as the industry, as for the serving the society also. Now we have to take all these things into consideration while developing the packages for the utilization of the data through digitalization. And the digitalization is an integral part of the institutional development everywhere now. Considering the disruptive nature of this many current digital technologies, I believe that organizations need fundamentally to renew and redefine the key ideas of their business in order to achieve the better growth and exploit the full potential of the organization, and eventually achieving the success in attaining their goals in their business development. And the technological capability of applications such as the Internet of Things, and a lot of applications are there in agricultural sector domain, and the big data, and the cloud computing, and the mobile technologies. Almost all our Krishi Vigyan Kendras, 740 Krishi Vigyan Kendras across the country in the different districts are utilizing these mobile technologies and the IoT applications in agriculture to pass the technologies to the farmers at their doorstep through the Android mobiles. You can imagine what a wonderful thing these digital technologies are delivering to the farming community to strengthen the agricultural activities at the farm level in the rural areas. And a lot of applications are there, and we are trying, even several startups are also coming up on this line, how to put this, utilize all these informations and how these technologies can be fastly disseminated to the farming community so that we can improve the profitability in the farming. Even some of the digital technologies can improve the productivity of the crops even up to 30%. Only by the digital technologies, not by the other inputs like natural resources and other things. Other agricultural inputs are different, and the technology strength is different in digital technologies that can improve up 30 to 40% increase in the productivity and the profitability to the farming community. Microsoft and several companies, they have already tried these things and paid the dividends to the farmers. And the new digital marketplace, consumers behave differently. Now everybody is, if somebody wants to purchase a particular item to the market, first you go to the assessment of the product quality and all these things, and the information and feedback from the consumers. Many more things are happening through this. And after that, you take the decision. Consumers' decision making to purchase a particular goods in the market is being decided with these technologies. For instance, the emerging of the digital platforms, the networking is also greatly improved through this. And now, if we don't have these things, online platforms and all these things, we would have not covered all the academic year programs of the last 1 year during the pandemic. And the networking is also, we can improve, and you can create better ecosystems. The market infrastructure becomes increasingly interconnected, even the business developmental activities. Even for the academic programs like this, organizing the e-conferences all, and you have connected globally everyone, the top leaders across the country. It is not practically possible without spending huge money to bring them here and delivering the lectures. This is the basic advantage of these things we are getting. We have to work a lot on this line. and develop the technologies. There is a lot of scope from the IT expert sides, and then that depends upon the need of the industries and the organizations, how they can, what are their needs, how to digitalize their data, how to utilize that information in an effective way to build up those organizations, whether it may be an academic improvement or for a business development, whatever it is. I believe that such multidisciplinary discussions are required, given that digitalization is a multidisciplinary by nature, as it involves the changes in the strategy, organization, information technology, supply chains, marketing. In today's world, managers, leaders, organizations are increasingly confronted with the responding to the advent of new digital technologies. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity in this inaugural function. I learned many things out of your learned speakers you have selected for this conference. And I think this conference is going to have a grand success and very good information to every one of us. Thank you very much for this group of institutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Rao, for truly underlining what is the need of the hour. That is, technology should be used to boost agriculture, which is actually the backbone of Indian economy. Thank you ever so much, sir, for delivering your valuable words of wisdom and indeed worthwhile words of wisdom. Thank you ever so much, sir. I would now invite Assistant Professor Dr. Sonal Saxena to proceed with the session further.
Thank you, ma'am. Before moving further, I would request the host to kindly unveil the souvenir of the conference. Thank you so much. Gratitude is a treasure which once remains with the person forever in the memories. With these thoughtful lines, I would now request Assistant Professor Rajesh Gupta, Co-Organizing Secretary, 11th International Conference 2020, to propose the vote of thanks. So please.
Madam, join कर रही हैं? Vice Chancellor, Madam, join कर रही हैं?
It's my great honor, privilege, and pleasant duty to propose vote of thanks in the inaugural ceremony of 12th International Conference on behalf of Prestige Institute of Management, Gwalior. At the outset, I would like to express my profound gratitude to the Honorable Chief Guest of the ceremony, Professor S.K. Rao, Vice Chancellor, Rajmata Vijayaraje Scindia Krishi Vishwavidyalaya, Gwalior, who has all alone been a source of strength to us. I thank him for sparing his valuable time to address the gathering. Thank you, sir. I would like to acknowledge our sense of obligations to the guest of honor of the ceremony, Professor Pawan Kumar Singh, Professor I.M. Indore, for his words of wisdom for gracing the occasion. Thank you, sir. I am overwhelmed to have our special guest, Professor Dogan Gursoy, Professor Washington State University, Professor Sudhir Rana, Professor Fortune Institute of International Business, New Delhi, for dignifying today's inaugural ceremony. Your wonderful presence and words of wisdom are valuable to us. We are thankful to you, sir. I am delighted to have an eminent Professor Justin Paul, Professor, University of Puerto Rico, keynote speaker to the ceremony. You have been a wonderful source of inspiration and putting your insightful remarks on research. We are thankful to you, sir. I am also thankful to the conference presiding officer, Professor Sangeeta Shukla ma'am, Vice Chancellor, Jiva University, Gwalior, for constant guidance and inspirations to us. Thank you, ma'am. Also, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to conference patron, Dr. Devis Jain, conference chairman and principal, Dr. S.S. Bharkar, Prestige Institute of Management, for providing their constant support and guidance. Thanks a lot, sir. I take this opportunity to extend our gratitude to the delegates across the continents who have come all across to attend this conference, and all distinguished and learned participants for participating in this conference. I would be falling in my duty if I do not convey my thanks to the electronic and social media for the efforts they are taking for coverage of the conference. I thank our sponsors and partners too. This vote of thanks would remain incomplete if I do not thank Organizing Secretary Dr. Ruturaj Babar and the members of various committees and all my colleagues whose sincere efforts for the day and night has brought this conference before you all. Last but not the least, I thank you all for being the wonderful audience and making our institute and country proud. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. And at the end, I would just say, be encouraged, stay on your hustle. You can't fail until you quit. Thank you all of you for joining the session. Thank you so much.
Okay.